welcome to the second episode of My Life Stories. If you haven't checked out the first video like this, then be sure to go check it out in that top card thingy right there, or in the description down below. Today's video, we'll be talking about the experiences I've had about accidentally hurting myself. Something to note about me is that I'm very accident prone. I mean, two of my nicknames given to me by my parents were both Hazard, because I was just a general hazard, and Grover, you know, the guy from Sesame Street. And I mean, another nickname given to me by my parents was also Crash, but that's very similar to Hazard. The first of these stories is to do with me splitting open my head. In total, I've split my head open 3 times. Maybe that's why I'm so weird. But the first time was the worst. The first time was in primary school. Yes, I have a lot, let's say, interesting stories of primary school. I was spinning around on a pole in the playground during lunch, just flinging myself around, getting real dizzy, but then my hand slipped. And of course, I only slipped at the worst possible time. So instead of just falling to the ground and then brushing myself off and continuing on, I slipped and fell head first right into a square pole right next to me. I hit the pole with a solid force and flew right back to the ground. Felt a horrible pain and tried to get up before realizing I was bleeding. Got taken back to the sick bay again and washed my head. Not 10 minutes later, I went back up to class. I didn't even put any band-aids or bandages on my forehead. For some reason I thought I just had to get to class, otherwise I was going to miss out on doing my times tables. I easily could have just said that I was in too much pain to continue with work. And I mean, it was at the end of the day, so I wouldn't have really missed out on anything. But I mean, come on. I like that I'm here now looking back at myself, saying, why didn't you skip out on all these classes and learn nothing, idiot? The other 2 times wasn't as fun as the first time, because I just tripped onto concrete, and the other time I got pushed onto concrete. The next story involves me getting winded at school. I believe it's only happened 4 times, but I can't remember, to be honest. If you don't know what the term winded means, it's basically when you get hit in the stomach or lungs and lose the air inside of you, and for some reason you can't breathe properly for the next few minutes. First time this happened was, again, at primary school. I was walking past the soccer goals, or as I'll say it, football goals. There was a bunch of grade 6s who were just about to take a shot on goal. For some reason I didn't see this as I was about to walk across, and just as I was passing the goal, a soccer ball smashed right into my chest. I was winded so bad that my mum had to come to me at school and ended up taking me home to recover. Good on ya, little me, for getting out of going to class. The next story was about me fracturing my little toe. This one wasn't actually a primary school. It's a surprise, I know. But this one I'm a little embarrassed about. See, I didn't fracture my toe by like kicking someone's face in or something. The way I managed to fracture my toe was that after I'd just finished in the toilet, when I was leaving the bathroom, I accidentally stubbed my toe on the door frame of the toilet. Yep, that's how I fractured my toe. After about a week of pain, I went to the doctors and found that it was fractured even a week after the incident. So it could have been properly broken when I did it. Now when people ask me about the first time I broke my bone, I always say that I broke it by kicking a soccer ball really hard. I also had many blood noses because of getting hit in the face, but I talked about that in my last video. Link in the description. The final story is one that happened about 4 years ago. I used to play field hockey as my one sport, because I'm lazy and only wants to do one sport at a time lest I die from fitness. Now one day at training, I was playing a practice game with the men's group. I was right near the goal, ready to do my strategy of waiting for my teammate to take a shot at the goal, then for me to tap it in a slightly different direction to trick the goalie and steal the goal for myself. So my fellow teammate was on their way to the goal with the ball, like a freaking demon from hell. I set up ready for the goal. I was so hyped to prove myself to the men's group. Finally, I feel like one of the boys and go to the pub and get shouted some drinks while we celebrate my goal on the practice game for the rest of the night. It's gonna be so good. He smashed it as hard as he could at the goal. It was like he'd just used rockets to propel his arms forward with more speed. The ball flew to my direction faster than the speed of sound and hit right into my hockey stick. Instead of going into the goal like planned, the ball went straight into my eyebrow. After getting hit, I fell to the ground and then not 5 seconds later got up and tried to get the ball back for the goal. I then got pulled over by other players and didn't realise why, then I felt stream of blood running down my face. After getting pulled off the field, I got the option to fix the wound with some stitches, which at the time I really should have done, but I didn't want them. Now I have a permanent scar on my right eyebrow. It doesn't look good at all. I have a few more stories about my sporting life, but that'll have to wait for another time as well. Well, that's going to have to be all for today's video. Hope you enjoyed the video about my chaotic injuries. If you want to go down and hit that like and sub button, then I'd be very grateful. Hint hint. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully see you next time.